Welcome to episode 3 of the 4th and 5 podcast. We're coming off a bye week. Once again, I'm with Robby. I'm with Mo, guys. How we doing?
We're doing. Vibes aren't great right now. Not due to Penn State, but
The Phils.
the Phils are breaking my heart. They're
Yeah.
breaking my heart. But we got a lot to break down today with Michigan coming up this weekend. I mean, it's always a big game. Penn State in the big house usually is a house of horrors. So we just got to go in there and play our game, and we'll see.
Definitely. I feel good that Penn State football is back for the week. I didn't know what to do last Saturday. It was kind of at a loss for words. I didn't really know what to do with myself. But again, I feel good. I feel good going into this weekend. Like you said, we don't always play the best in the big house, but I think we have a good set team, and I think we match up really well with Michigan. Obviously, we'll get into it, but yeah, I'm happy that Penn State football's back, and happy that I have something to put my energy into this Saturday.
Yeah, the noon game, again, we got the big noon kickoff, which I'm going to be flying for the first half at least. So, I mean, this is the biggest game Penn State football has had in what? Since the Minnesota game where Minnesota came to town, I'd say.
Iowa last year was a 5-3.
Yeah, that's true. I kind of forgot about that because we were awful. After that, we were, 1-4 after that game?
The wheels
Yeah.
fell off the wagon. Yep. As they tend to do.
The key to this game is kind of going to be the run game because what was that stat, Mo, about us, their offense and our run defense?
So, well, the stat about our run game, which I mean, this is just as much about Sean Clifford as it is our run game, is anytime that Sean Clifford passes 29 times or less, this Penn State team is 17-1, with that only loss being Iowa last year where he left the game. Now, when Sean Clifford throws the ball 35 times or more, Penn State is 1-6, with the only win being Maryland last year. So all signs point to, if Penn State can have a run game and let Sean Clifford be the main game manager, play like field position game, let the defense make a turnover or two, this game is winnable.
I agree.
Absolutely winnable. Gonna go off that and say it's really not that is a perfect stat of our run game because I mean I don't think Sean has had this great of a run game so far in his career. I mean, up until this point, I think this is the best we've seen, and it's not even close. So I just think going off of that stat, I mean, if we can keep the run game going and like you said, not have him throw the ball over 30 times, it'll be a real testament to how our line is doing and how our run game is doing. And I think that's obviously the key to this.
Yeah. I mean, we're averaging close to 5 yards a carry right now. Michigan's giving up about 2.62. But
again, look at the teams that they've been playing the past 5-6 weeks. They're not the same run game that we have.
No,
that we're
absolutely.
bringing to the table.
Absolutely. My whole thing is I've been struggling a little bit with this because you can always say like, oh, it was the teams that they played. It was the teams that they played. Was it the teams they played? Or is their run defense that good? Is it because they played them? And in the case of Michigan, I mean, I really dove into their schedule. They've played 6 games. 5 of those teams are 98th or worse in scoring offense. They've played 4 teams that are 100 or worse. Like, that's just bad. Colorado State is.
I think you said Maryland was the best, and they were 68th ranked or something
they're
like that. Yeah,
60 or something, 60 something.
Colorado State, UConn, Hawaii, and Iowa. 4 awful offenses in the country.
Yep, terrible, absolutely terrible. And then, I mean, granted, we haven't played any world beaters either, but just sticking to that run game, because, I mean, this game's going to be won and lost in the trenches. Michigan averages 5.3 yards per carry. We're giving up about 3 yards per carry. And, I mean, we faced some good running backs. I mean, I know that Auburn offensive line was banged up, but Tank Bigsby is a Sunday back, period. So is Jarquez Hunter. Like, they're both going to be in the league. So, I mean, we'll see. This game's all about stopping Blake Corum. Michigan wants to run the ball. They run the ball close to 60% of the time on offense. JJ hasn't been asked to do much. He hasn't been pressured. They've just been able to run the ball, control the game. He's been comfortable. So, I mean, this is only his 5th start, right? We're due for some growing pains. JJ McCarthy, I mean, he's right now the most accurate passer in college football. Like, where are these growing pains going to come? Penn State needs to get after him early. He's very confident. He's confident in his legs. He can definitely burn us there. He's an athlete. But if you look at that, like the Indiana game, he had all day. He was standing in the pocket for, 5, 6, 7 seconds. So what's going to happen when you really speed up that internal clock with JJ? We don't really know. We haven't seen it yet. So, this game's won and lost in the trenches. Front seven's gotta get home, and hopefully get home with 4 because we're more athletic on the back end.
Yeah, I just want to go off that. I think what you touched on, saying JJ hasn't had to do as much yet. I think we're looking at 2 very similar styled offenses and game planned offenses kind of going into this game because, again, both quarterbacks don't want to have the pressure on their shoulders and don't want to have to make those plays. They want their run game to be the outlier and be the spearhead in their offense. So their quarterback doesn't have to be put in that situation where they are pressured and when they have to make those tough throws. So I think it just flips on the opposite side for us on defense. We have to attack. We have to get upfield. We have to put pressure on JJ to actually make those throws without, giving him 5 seconds to kind of sit back there and pick our defense apart, which I don't think he can do because our secondary has shown that they are athletic and that they are faster than most guys that they come across. I just don't think Michigan has the speed or the athleticism on the outside to beat a Joey Porter Jr. And that's where I think we win the battle.
Ronnie Bell, it's interesting because, I thought he's a stud, which, I mean, he is a stud, but he hasn't looked as explosive coming back off injury from last year. Mm-hmm. Indiana's defense is terrible. He had 11 catches for 121 yards, but, those corners and safeties for Indiana were making plays and making him look uncomfortable. So I don't know what to expect when he's going up against, a Johnny Dixon who's super physical or a first-round corner in Joey Porter Jr.
Yeah, and he didn't get the ball a ton against Iowa. I think he only had 6 touches maybe. I can double-check that. But to go back to the quarterbacks for a second, if we're just going to talk – because we just talked about JJ and Clifford, I found some – I'm looking at their stats because I'm the stat guy for the episode. So where's Cliff? So Clifford – his first game against Purdue, 282 yards. He played well against Purdue. Threw 37 times, which is too many, that stat we brought up. But he played well against Purdue. He threw that awful pick 6, but we're going to forget that even happened because we won the game. Against Ohio, 213 yards. Against Auburn, 178 yards. But he did what he needed to do. We trusted the run game, and we were blowing them out. So not a big deal there. They went through for 178 yards. And against Central Michigan and Northwestern, I know it was pouring against Northwestern, 217 yards against Central Michigan. That game, he did not look good whatsoever. And then Northwestern, 140 yards. So then if you flip that over and go to McCarthy, I know that he played 2 awful defenses to start. He didn't play the entire Hawaii game. He didn't play the entire UConn game, but 229 and 214. Maryland, that was a close game. Maryland could have pulled it off. 18 for 26 for 220 yards. And he didn't really run. He hasn't been running the ball as much as you think he would. Iowa, 155 yards. Iowa, good defense. And then, like you said, he had a ton of time against Indiana. So he threw for 304 yards. But again, we go back to Ronnie Bell. I don't know. This is the best secondary he's going to face. So I don't know because I also don't think we haven't played any playmakers, right?
No, we haven't really seen some guys on the outside that can really
Charlie Jones for Purdue.
Yeah.
He became a playmaker against us, I think. Yeah, we gave him a lot of space and a lot of chances.
So much room. And everything was underneath.
Yeah.
So let's go.
I haven't seen us get really be deep yet. Is the main point.
When Carter came out, that's really it.
Yeah.
we've done a great job of keeping everything in front of us, and Michigan hasn't been that explosive. I mean, they've had explosive runs, but they haven't been super explosive in the pass game over the top. Their play action game is almost non-existent. Like, they don't really go under center. It's a lot of what we're used to seeing about Penn State, just shotgun, hand the ball off, shotgun spread. So it's going to be interesting to see how Michigan's offense is because they haven't faced anyone. So have they just been playing a vanilla style of offense, or
I think that's just their offense.
Or is that just their offense? I think, and you also have, it's a co-offensive coordinator, and I remember Joel Klatt talking about that a few weeks ago, and he kept saying, "So, who has final say?" And they're like, "Well, no one has final say. Like, we go through it together." That can't be great. Like, the cohesion there doesn't sound great. I know we've got all rookie coordinators over there in Michigan, so I'm hoping that we can take advantage on a like that. Obviously, Manny Diaz is a rookie coordinator for us, but the guy knows how to run a defense.
Rookie. Yeah, I would love, just going off that, I would love to be able to get up early in this game just to put them in that spot. Just because I know they haven't faced that yet. I think they were 10-10 going into halftime against Indiana, and that's probably the closest that they've been to losing a game or having their backs up against the wall per se. So I would really love to come out hot, be able to get the ball possibly, and drive down the field and score. And then it's kind of like, what, your turn. Show us what you got, and you got, we're going to come at you full strength, but you're going to have to put something together too, and come back, or we're going to go up 14-0 on you. So I think that's the mentality I want us to have. So we just got to see what our offense can do, and hopefully they can punch in an early score or something. But I don't want it to be just all on our defense right away. Because if we give them all of the time and the energy to decide what type of plays they actually want to run and decide to get creative against us, I think it could get bad for us. But I think we just got to keep it close.
Yeah, I would like to see us come out of the gates and score first, absolutely, because Mo said it perfectly when it was 10-10. Indiana was tied with Michigan at half, and Mo was like, they're going to win by 20 plus, and that's exactly what happened. So, if we get an early lead, I think dream scenario, we get I don't know if I want the ball first or not, because I like kicking it and get to start the second half. But let's say we get the ball first, score, get a stop, score again. If we're up either 14-0 or 10-0 before they even really can get going, that'd be absolutely huge because their offense hasn't been very creative. It is handed off to Corum. We want to put pressure on McCarthy because McCarthy, in his career, I know he played a little bit last year, but he's never been tested. He's never played really a game like this at this capacity before. So I'm curious to see what he will do in this spot. I know they're at home and they're the big house, and that is a bit of an advantage for them. But if we put pressure on this team very early, I'm curious to see how they'll respond.
Yeah, and I think it definitely plays that we're battle tested. We went to Purdue on a Thursday night. And that crowd was loud. That crowd was raucous the entire time. And then we went down to Jordan-Hare, which everyone talks about the voodoo magic of that place. But we took the absolute air out of that stadium. Yep. The first half it was tense, but they never really had anything to get excited about. Mm-hmm. And then in the second half, we just blew the brakes off of them. And that's something that I think is going to pay, is that being able to, go into a hostile environment and know how to operate. I've also heard that the big house for 110,000 is not as loud as some other stadiums. So I don't think that the silent count and things like that are really going to be a factor. I think Jordan-Hare or whatever Purdue's stadium's called, I can't think of it right now, I think they are definitely going to be more intense environments than what we're seeing. Obviously, it's Michigan, it's bigger, it means more, but from a pure noise perspective, I think we've faced worse.
Yeah, and this is also one of those times that I'm happy that Sean Clifford is our starting quarterback going in this game, because he has been in moments like this. Like we said, he's 2-1 versus Michigan. He's been in an environment where it's loud and where he has to, make adjustments on the fly, and be able to, put that experience to use. Like I think if we had Drew Alar going into this game as our quarterback, I'd feel a little bit more on the nervous side, just because he's never played in that type of environment. In this big stage and top 10 game. Sure, he got in a little bit in the other games, but other than that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, shout out Matt McGloin, love that guy. But he said that it's good to have a guy like Sean with experience, because I don't think he's going to get nervous. I know that I complain about how he'll like sit in the pocket and poop his pants and get scared sometimes, but he's the guy to show all these young guys, because our offense is very young, that we're battle tested. We have 2 very good road wins. The teams might not be great, but they're hard environments to play in. And the last time we went to the Big House, it was a COVID year, granted, but we beat them. And we had that experience of going in there and winning. And Sean being the leader, I know that, again, we talk shit about him and say, oh, but this is like a good spot to have him. Not about his play. That's a completely different aspect. But his leadership, I think, will help this team, because on the other side of the ball, Corum is their leader, but McCarthy is going to be a little nervous. And I think that we kind of have that leadership edge.
Yeah, I would agree. I would definitely agree.
And going off of that, I mean, all the pressure's on Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Penn State came into the year unranked. Michigan was sitting at 5 when the year started, or 4. They've been right in that mix. This is a team that went to the playoffs last year, got blown out by Georgia. I mean, they have a chip on their shoulder, a lot to prove, and they've played no one yet this year. Now, all of a sudden, they have this top 10 matchup with this Penn State team that's young, that's hungry. James Franklin does not have a road win versus a top 10 team. I mean, neither does Sean Clifford. Like,
that's what
like,
got him.
This is a huge prove it game for those guys. Sean Clifford knows this is his last year. He's hungry. He doesn't have. Look back at Sean Clifford's career. I mean, sure, he has the passing yards, he has the touchdowns. Show me a signature win. You can. This game means a ton for us, but it's flying under the radar because all the pressure is on them. And I mean, I'm going to walk into the Big House on Saturday, and I'm going to be hype. I mean, there's a lot to be hype about. I'm expecting a game, but like, I just think this team has a chip on its shoulder for how young they are. They feel doubted. I mean, have you seen Abdul Carter and his dad tweeting this week?
Mm-hmm.
It's electric. These kids just want it, and I mean, I couldn't be more excited.
Yeah, I feel like that translates into the fan base as well. I feel like there's just a different vibe around this team this year. I know the past seasons we've done this throughout the first 4 games as well. Like, we've gotten excited, we've gotten ready for Penn State football again. But there's something just different about this year. I think it's the youth in our team, really. I think it's just and the depth that we have. I think it's just the overall culture that we built, and I'm just so into it and so ready to not be hurt by Penn State football again, but to be bought in and be enjoying it and seeing them have fun.
Yeah, I think we gotta highlight a couple players on both sides who I think are going to play key roles. I mean, obviously, on offense, we've highlighted Corum, we've highlighted McCarthy, we've highlighted Clifford, right? But defensively, I mean, obviously, we've said that Michigan wants to run the ball. That's what they're going to do. And the key, honestly, like Clifford getting hurt last year, yeah, that was a huge part. But PJ Mustipher, once we lost him in that Iowa game, our run defense was not the same.
It was not.
That guy is a problem. And if he just clogs up the middle And, sure, Corum might bounce it outside for 5-6 yards every once in a while. But if he can just clog the middle and we can get them behind the chains, 2nd and 9, 2nd and 8, 3rd and 7, that's not a place Michigan's used to playing. They're, handoff, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3. Like, we need to keep them behind the chains. If JJ McCarthy beats Penn State, you know what? Like, maybe he's the truth. Maybe he's the guy that Michigan's been looking for. Kind of like Auburn. We were like, let TJ Finley beat you.
We'll be able to sit with that a little bit more than we will if Blake Corum comes out and, puts up 150 and 2 touchdowns on us. But I think going along with your PJ Mustipher input there, I think he's just a guy that we need to get going and get in there just to clog up the middle for the benefit of our young linebackers, because they are not, I guess they're doing a pretty good job. But they could be doing a better job. They're definitely not the best part of our defense. I know Tyler Ellison and Kobe King are both in there, and they do a good job flying around, but they are young, and they don't fully have all of that experience yet, and they are a shaky point in our defense. So I definitely think having PJ in there, having his experience, and just his big body, being able to clog up that A-gap, clog up those holes, so it gives our linebackers time to clean it up or fly around for the pass. I think that's very important for PJ to be in there. So I think that's what we'll see.
Yeah, PJ is going to be a huge part of this defense, clog up the holes. That's what he does. And again, the linebackers, the issue, we were scared about the Auburn game with them. We were like, how are they going to do a tank? And the defense played well, but an issue this team has, and it wasn't so bad against Northwestern, they kind of cleaned up a little bit. They miss so many tackles. It's so infuriating to watch these guys. They get the angle, they square them up, and they just can't finish the tackle. It's infuriating. And that cannot happen with Corum, because Corum's last 3 games, where is he? He's run Maryland 30 attempts, Iowa 29, Indiana 25 rush attempts. He's going to run the ball 25 plus times. And if we can't stop this guy, he's going to kill us. We have to tackle him.
I think those numbers could be a little inflated, though, due to game script. I mean, they've obviously – have they trailed this year?
No, I was saying that before you left, Mo. I think the one time that they were – well, I don't know. But going into Indiana, the halftime going in 10-10 was probably their closest when they're, closest to their backs being against the wall.
I think they were –
I think they trailed – actually, no, they trailed in that Indiana game. I'm pretty sure they were down 10-3.
Was it 10-3? And then going into half, they put it up 10-10
to Maryland too.
Okay.
So they have tripped early, but still, you're not really changing the game script down 3.
Right.
No, I mean, if you can get out early, get up maybe 10, even get up 7, make them uncomfortable to the point where they can't run the ball 30 times. Or even if you're there's a lot in that. But, I mean, you do have to tackle, period. You got to tackle, gang tackle. I mean, just fly to the ball, light this guy up.
Gang tackle is going to be important there because, like you said, he's going to get the ball 25-plus times. And you got to be able to hit him 25-plus times because, it's just that one time that it takes for him to break one. We just got to be able to gang tackle, and everybody has to get their head on the football.
So our leading tacklers are Jair, Abdul Carter, Joey Porter Jr., and then Jacobs has been he's been good. Him and Ellison, they're up there in the top 5 in tackles. But I mean, a lot of our tackles do come from Jair flying down. I know Joey Porter likes to get in the mix, lighting guys up, and he's always we're very good at following the ball and not having guys not beat us. But a guy that I just saw his name and it kind of frightened me a little bit. Sutherland needs to play better. He needs to just be better.
Sutherland. I don't know how I feel about that guy.
I feel like every time there's a touchdown, he's either trailing the guy or he's missing a tackle. Because I mean, he's a good locker room guy. He's fine, but he's playing. He came down. He's off the edge now, right? He's playing outside linebacker.
Yeah.
So he worries me sometimes because he misses a lot of tackles. But just gang tackle Corum. You got to get to him.
Yeah, and that's gonna come. I mean, it's kind of like the Auburn game where it's sell out for the run, but I mean Michigan is just way better than Auburn, which you can't sell out. You need everyone needs to just fill their gaps and make plays. Everyone just needs to fill their gaps, make plays, fly to the ball, tackle, and the rest will take care of itself. If you can get them uncomfortable, then force JJ to throw a ball. I mean, we've seen him trust his ability a little too much. Granted, teams just haven't taken advantage of it. I mean, I said it in the first pod about that corner route that should have been a pick 6 against Maryland. Like, that's a game changer, especially in a game like this where I think points could definitely be at a premium. Like a pick 6 or something like that, I mean, that can flip this game on its head. I mean, if you just think about it, like, let's say Michigan's driving, they're in the red zone, they throw a pick 6. So they go from potentially at least 3 to us getting 7. That's a 10-point swing. And then to just tie it, they have to do a whole nother drive. And then we get the ball back. And then they have to go a whole other drive down the red zone again to be at that same position that they were in prior. There's not going to be that many possessions in this game.
I was going to say, I think any turnover is going to be kind of hard to come by in this game. I think both teams are going to be well aware. Like, obviously, Penn State coming off of a game, granted it was raining, but obviously having 5 turnovers, I think that's a focal point that they hopefully focused on in the past 2 weeks. And obviously Michigan being at home, they're going to take care of the football. So I think any turnover that we are able to get as a defense is going to be lucrative, and we're going to have to take full advantage of. I think if we get a turnover, we have to score points. I don't think it's, a debate. I think we need to take full advantage of getting the ball in their territory, or just getting the ball back from their offense. I think we have to take full advantage, obviously.
I don't think they turn the ball over a lot, right? At least they haven't.
Well,
2 interceptions, and
I think it's pretty even, to be honest with you. I think the turnover margin's pretty fairly close.
So they fumbled 6 times, only lost 1, and they've thrown 2 interceptions. So they've turned the ball over 3 times all year. And I know that we didn't turn the ball over much before Northwestern.
Until
I think that will be a focal point in practice. At least they should be duct taping balls to these guys' hands, because you cannot fumble. And you know that Harbaugh is going to have them going for the ball, tackling with their heads into the ball. That's what Northwestern was doing. That's what Fitzgerald told them to do. He wanted them to form tackle, head to the ball. It was perfect. I mean, we should have held on the ball, but it was great tackling. And Michigan's going to try to do the same thing. It just can't happen.
Yeah, I mean, if you would have told Pat Fitzgerald that they were going to have, 5, 6 turnovers?
5 fumbles.
5 fumbles, 6 turnovers, and they wouldn't win that game, he would have laughed in your face. But, sometimes the ball just rolls your way. And
that's just I think that's a testament to our defense in the long run. Just having 5 turnovers and being able to have that bend not break mentality, because we did give Northwestern the ball how many times in our own side of the field. So I think it was just a good testament to our defense that we were able to stand our ground and not let up any points off the turnovers.
Yeah, definitely. So I guess that touches the defense pretty well, and kind of what we need to do, and a little bit that we kind of just bridged into the running back. So offensive game plan for us, I mean, obviously run the ball. Michigan's game plan is going to be very, very on defense is going to be similar to ours. I mean, they're going to want to get pressure. They're going to want to make Sean uncomfortable. They're going to bring pressure early, stop the run. So, honestly, I think we need to be super, super aggressive early with the play action, because they're going to be trying to come downhill, blitz. If we can be super aggressive with the play action and hit like a Parker or Mitch over the top, or Keandre.
Get the tight ends involved.
Get the tight ends involved. I mean, if you can hit one of those guys for a big explosive play early and keep Michigan honest, and then let us, work through the run game, they are in trouble. I think like one explosive play is all we really need. One explosive play in the first half, whether it's over the top to Mitch or to Parker, or if it's like a quick seam to Brenton Strange. I think, and especially if we can get to third, like some play action, little drag routes where like Strange just goes chips quick, drags across the field, and we can just get some easy pitch and catch for first downs. If we can be in those third and manageable situations, I really like our chances in this game.
Get Sean going early, get him comfortable in those situations particularly. And yeah, I love those plays where they just bring either oh my gosh, Brenton Strange or oh my gosh,
Tyler Warren, Theo
Parker
Johnson.
Washington's name. Yeah, I like when they bring Parker across the field and they're able to hit him in stride. I just think that's good for Sean. I think that's good for the entire offense. I like getting Sean's confidence up with those throws. So.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully he doesn't miss them because I know it was raining against Northwestern, but he did miss some of those throws. Yeah, get Parker involved.
Those are ones that you can't miss.
Yeah, I love Parker. I mean, I think Mitch is our best receiver. Parker is our most explosive outside of the running backs. Because if that guy gets open and Clifford can hit him, it'll be 6. Because he every once in a while will run a fly route and he's open. You just gotta hope Sean can hit him. Because the mesh routes always work. I like when he's in the slot, throw him a screen maybe. I think that I could see them. I know it hasn't happened a lot, but I think they're going to try to get the ball to Singleton out of the backfield, like with screens and swing passes. I could see that happening, being in the game script, because if they decide to try to come down and put pressure on and clamp on Mitch and Parker and not let Brenton get going, even though I think Brenton Strange will get going, I could see some swing passes out to Singleton and even Kevon Lee. I don't know if they'll throw the ball to Katron. They haven't really done that this year, but I could see the running backs catching some passes.
Yeah, I agree, but that kind of goes against everything we said, because if he's throwing the ball to the running backs, then we're probably going over that inevitable 29 mark, which we don't want. Which we don't want. I mean,
we'll have it in our back pockets. That it's a good plan B to kind of fall back on if we are getting pressure, and we are seeing in those situations where Sean isn't having as much time. Yeah, plan B.
I love those plays, but those plays can only be used as an extension of the run game. They cannot be the run game. They were the run game last year. That's why we struggle, because they were our run game. Now, listen, if we come out there like, a little zone left, Nick gets us 7 yards, and then we hurry to the line, boom, little bubble screen to Parker. I love that, because they're coming downhill. You get one block, Parker's got 10 yards because he's explosive.
They should let us call this game, honestly. I think we'd win.
For sure.
Was it 3,000%?
I mean, I think you need to get Parker Washington, 20 catches for 285 this year. Like, you need to get this guy involved.
Yeah, just get him the ball. It doesn't even have to be a big shot down the field. Literally just those screen passes or just those little drags that you bring him across the field, get him the ball in open space and let him do his thing. I mean, it's not anything hard. It's just literally just getting him the ball and putting those plays in the script early on to get him active early.
Yeah, what's crazy is that you said he's 20 catches for 285 yards. It was.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody in the country knows who Parker Washington is. If you show anybody else in the country with those stats, 20 receptions, 285 yards, nobody cares. Like, whatever. Like, he's not good. But because he's so explosive and every single time he does get the ball, it's a big play or it's a chunk play and it'll get us going. But I feel like he gets the ball a lot in the first half. And then the second half, they just completely abandon throwing the ball to him, which never makes any sense to me.
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously we didn't throw the ball a ton in that Auburn game. I mean, it's just so tough with a lot of these games, especially early on in the season, just because once Sean came out and Drew came in, we weren't really dealing with the ones at the wide receivers either. So it's hard to know what his actual snap percentage on the field has been in the second half. I mean, I know obviously he played every snap of that Northwestern game, and I know he was open in the second half because we saw Sean miss him 3 times. Yeah. But you can't really read into any game prior to that, other than Purdue, which I know he wasn't involved in at all. That was
It was Mitch.
That was a big Mitch game.
Yeah.
But that's why I think Parker's due to have a big game, and I think that plays in our favor. I mean, you get Parker going, you get the run game going, and then, just a little play action with your tight ends. I mean, that's the recipe. You just control the game, control the clock. We have a great punter. Got to bring up the punter.
Barney.
Oh, yeah, shout out Barney. Again, this is our weekly thing. Barney, we'd love to have you on the pod. You're a stud.
Oh, we would love to get Barney. Going off special teams, are we going to talk about our kicking unit at all and how that could possibly be our downfall? Because that's a big worry point of mine.
A weekly bit too, where we talk about the kicking unit. Oh boy, that's gonna be just kind of the narrative. Let's say we do go in the Big House, we beat Michigan, then we're gonna be scared about Pinniger missing a kick against Minnesota. Yeah. If we beat Minnesota, it's just gonna be a constant. I've been scared of him missing kicks for years. He's a sixth year, right? I think he's either a senior or he's a fifth year, but I know that he's been there forever. I don't even know who the kicker was before him.
Yeah.
Julius?
Yeah, I was just trying to think of who
was Joey. Was Joey the primary kicker? I feel like he did mostly.
No. Yeah, he was in wasn't that 2013?
That was
it was a while ago.
Yeah.
But
who was the
listen, I mean, I know we're scared of Pinniger. He made a pretty clutch kick.
That's true.
Against
he did.
Northwestern.
We talked about that last episode, right? That was a big kick.
So, I mean, listen, I'm nervous, but you know what? If it comes down to it and there's 3 seconds left, the kid makes it, then I don't have a worry anymore. You know? Well, it's very easy to be worried when he hasn't been put in a situation where he needs to make a kick.
Right. I've just been waiting for that situation to present itself, and I think that it might present itself this weekend, and that's just what we're in the works. But again, if he goes out there and nails it, then we have our worries lifted off our shoulders for the next couple games, hopefully. But it's just that it's on the horizon for it to come up.
This game is a touchdown spread. I know it opened at 10.5. It's moved in our favor to a touchdown. It's gonna be a last-second game. Score. I mean, it's good. The game is going to end on a last-minute score. 100%.
It will win. Yeah, it will be won in the last 2 minutes of the game for sure.
Yeah, this game will be won in the fourth quarter, whether it's a stop or something along those lines. But actually, on that 10.5, crazy. So that was last Thursday. They dropped an early line some reason. DraftKings. It was only on DraftKings. No other book had it. And it was Penn State 10.5. That line was only available for an hour. Shout out Dave for sending it in the group chat because your boy had absolutely hammered it.
Yeah.
And
shout out Rudy for giving me that.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And then shout out Rudy. But so I hammered it, and then the line was closed until Sunday. And then Sunday it came out at 7.5. Except DraftKings won't let me cash out because they know I just stole 3 points from them.
Yeah, but I can't believe they did. I mean, somebody got fired and fucked up for that.
No, someone messed up. I do. Yeah. I have a substantial amount of money on that 10.5, and I could not be more confident.
The 10.5 is a lot.
That's a lot of points for the number 10
so
team.
Many points.
Yeah, that's a lot of points. I feel good with 7.5, and you just got 3 added onto it. Yeah, right.
I think 7.5. But what is that? But that's what everyone's saying. I think it's too much. What does Vegas know? That's something we haven't really.
At the same time, that is scary.
Why is Vegas so high on Michigan?
I think that it's the Big House, and I think that everybody PFF. A lot of the analysts, so-called analysts, love this Michigan team for relatively I mean, they're fine. I don't think they're incredible. I think we're 10 right now. They're 5. I think they're more towards 8. I think we're good at 10. But people just love this team, and so let's say you're giving them the 3 points at being at the Big House, right? If this game is in State College at Beaver Stadium, we have to be a 2-point favorite. It just
You're
wouldn't
probably
make
a
sense
pick 'em.
that we'd be a dog at home.
Probably, I was gonna say.
I
It's
feel
probably
like
a
we
pick
should
'em.
get points.
Because the 3 points for being at home basically says neutral site, right? So neutral site would be like a 4.5, 5 point spread. And then at home we get the 3, so we probably start as like a 2-point dog, but that's gonna get bet to a pick 'em. That'll get moved to a pick 'em so fast.
Yeah.
I mean, well, today is Wednesday, right? And let me check DraftKings because DraftKings should sponsor us because we constantly use DraftKings lines. All right, so it's at 7 right now. Yeah, sponsors DraftKings.
FanDuel was actually at 6.5 the other day. I saw.
All right, I feel like it'll be at 6 by kickoff. I think.
Do you think
You
so?
think it'll sit at 7?
I think it's going to sit at 7. I think this is going to be 50-50. The money's going to be coming in on both sides. I don't see anything crazy happening. How about that over too? 52.5 seems high.
I was just gonna ask what that is. I do not like that over.
52.5?
Considering both game plans these teams are gonna have.
That's a dead under for me.
51?
Yeah, I got 51.
I guess it came down because I saw it opened at like 52.5, which I thought was absurd. Like, that's another thing. Like, where's Vegas think these points are coming from? Like, this is a Big Ten rivalry. Like, I don't know.
These defenses are going to come out and punch each other in the mouth.
But you look at Penn State historically at the Big House. I mean, what 2016? What we lose 42-10. Or 42-14.
Yeah, that was the Tommy Stevens game where Trace got hurt.
Yeah.
Tommy Stevens, that was a slaughter. We got crushed.
And then 2018 was like 42-10. We got crushed there too.
Yeah. We beat them in the I know we won at the Big House. That was the COVID year. Like, does that really count? No one was there.
We were 0-5.
And they were 2-3. They were as bad as us. I mean, I know we finished 4-5, whatever it was, but like we haven't. I don't know the last time. I'm sure somebody knows the stat. Oh, what was the stat that I saw? It was the last time you sent the tweet to us. No, the
last time Penn State beat a top 5 team on the road was 1994 at the Big House.
I think the date was the exact same, right? Wasn't it?
October, the date was the exact same.
Or whatever it was.
October 15th.
Wonder if they were coming off a bye.
Yeah, while we were
coming off a bye.
Yeah. I mean, the stars are aligning. I've been dealing. My sports luck has been great recently until tonight. I definitely took a step back tonight, but I mean, Penn State undefeated, Eagles undefeated, Phils they're fighting, but
fighting Phils. Yeah,
feeling good. I guess we can roll into some predictions here, kind of start wrapping this up a little bit. I think that Michigan is going to struggle. I think they're going to struggle to move the ball. I'm saying like 28-17. I think we go in there and, act like we kind of handle them.
Then we're legit. Then we're on everyone's radar if we go in and do that.
I think we can handle this team. I really do. And I don't want to overreact to the Indiana game, but I'm overreacting to the Indiana game because of that first half. I don't want to overreact because obviously their coach had a stroke on the sideline. Like, that's not something you plan for. Or a seizure. I'm sorry.
Actually, he's okay now.
Thankfully, he's okay. Like, Mike, I hope he can be on the sideline for them this weekend. But I don't think that's something you can plan for. So I think you kind of have to toss, much like I'm saying we toss the Northwestern game for them. For us, you toss the Indiana game for them.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of stuff you can't really control on the football field. But still, if you look at the full body of work, I just think, I don't know. We've said it so many times. This team's different. I think we're going to go in there and I think we're going to handle business. I think like 28-17. I don't think this is going to be I think we're going to be in control, and then I think we're going to pull away late. I think it's going to be a fourth quarter touchdown, 5 minutes left, we go on a drive and just ice it.
I think I like that part of the prediction there. I'm gonna go a little bit smaller of a score. I think I'm gonna go. Well, no, I'm gonna go around the same. I'm gonna go 27-24, and I think that we're gonna win it with a defensive stop. I think we're gonna get a key stop at the end of the fourth, and then we're gonna get the ball and run out time, and that's how we're gonna win the game. That's my prediction. And I think Michigan will struggle early. I think we come out. I think we on the board first. And I think we kind of punch them in the mouth and kind of get them off their rails a little bit, put a little pressure on them. I think eventually they obviously end up coming back and getting their foot in the ground. But I think it'll be a dogfight to the end, and I think our defense steps up, and that's how we win the football game.
I like it. I like that stop because it's kind of – when's the last time we got a big stop? I don't know. But
Probably Wisconsin in the Big Ten championship.
yeah, that was the last time we got a stop.
Yeah.
That was probably the last time because I know we get stopped constantly. The last time we actually got stopped. I mean, I think that'd be kind of poetic that our defense has kind of been the unit, and they'd win the game for us. So I'm gonna go. I think even smaller. I'm gonna say that we win this game 24-20, and I think that in the game we get a Joey Porter pick six early in the game to kind of set the tone. They come back, and we're down 20-17. Sean Clifford needs to lead a 2-minute drill down the field, and instead of going the field goal, punching it with Nick Singleton for the win late. And I think that's how we do it with like 10 seconds left. I think that's how we're going to win. I would much rather prefer to win 28-17, but I think this is going to be we're going to be on the edge of our seats, scared all game, and then this kind of people starting the narrative of Sean Clifford good, is Penn State legit, and then we focus on Minnesota. So yeah, 24-20. I prefer your guys' predictions, but I think it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's hope Mo's comes true. I would enjoy that the most.
I want most.
It's listen, the stars are aligning. We don't win big games. Franklin doesn't win big games. We definitely don't win big games on the road. We need a statement win, and what a better time to do it for Sean Clifford when you have this young team who you're kind of molding to, go to the next level. Like, you're passing the torch. So let's put a stamp on your career. Like, prove everybody wrong. There's no better time to do that than right now, this weekend. Anyone who's listening, DM us on social. I will be at the game. I will have a tailgate. If you're going, DM us on social. I'll let you know where we're at. Come have a couple beers, some burgers. It's early, but we'll be getting activated. Got to make sure the Penn State crowd's rowdy.
Yeah, so that's our show. We got a ton of content coming out the next couple weeks. This is kind of the gauntlet now. 3 weeks we got Michigan. Mo will be there. Minnesota, the whiteout. We'll see if we're around.
I'll be there.
Mo will be there. Me and Rob might be there. We'll see. But yeah, Mo's going to be pumping out content while he's at Michigan and Ohio State. I know we have a live show set up at our tailgate, so more on that soon. Thanks for listening. Subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe, reshare on SoundCloud or 4th and 5 podcast on everything: Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok. Thanks for listening, and we are
Go State.